Hi folks, it's Ian from Goose Juice Adventures. I'm here in Asturias, northern Spain. I'm here for a few days for a training block to test my kit, equipment and body and mind as well. But I thought I'd run through the boat that I'm going to be using for my Britain by Kayak 26 project later this year and show you how I've set it up now and what I'll be testing. So let's take a look from front to back. Well, first of all, it's a Curtain Sea Trek. It's a Kevlar layup, weighs in around about 18 kilos when it's bare, but fully loaded as it is now, it's coming in at about 55 kilos. Looking at the front, okay, we've got Wetman deck lines with the Scotchlite 3M reflective thread in it. Okay, then we've got a paddle park so that I can slip my paddle under there if I need to just keep it safe temporarily. And then moving back here, I've got my spare paddles, which are the Lomo green sticks. And I've rigged them this way round, blade facing forwards, restrained in these elastics, so that I can grab the end of the split shaft here and pull that out, like so. And then I can use it to roll. And so if I do lose my main paddles, I've got a backup system that I can get to underwater. And there is a separate video on my YouTube channel and website which shows you self-rescue training that I completed last November and using that particular technique. The front hatch, all the hatches are now the Hydrosil Wetman style. I'll be testing those on this trip for the first time. And up front here I'm keeping my sleeping system, sleeping bag, etc., tent, pots and pans, my pelly case with power bank in it, and there's space in there for the trolley. The trolley is actually a Vivor dismantleable plastic trolley which I'm using for the first time, weighs in about 4 kilos, so it's quite a weight, but my wife wouldn't let me do this trip unless I had a trolley with me. So I'm giving that a go. Really great value, the Vivor ones as well. So we'll be testing that out too. There's also 2 litres of spare water in there too. Now coming back from the main hatch, I've got my steering compass here, which is bungeed on over the hatch. And then I've got a Steve Wetman short tow. Now I'm solo paddling. I'm not anticipating having to tow anybody, but I use this for a couple of reasons. One, I attach it here just behind the front hatch, okay, and it comes aft and attaches to the deck pull tag here. Now the reason for that is, if I'm solo offshore in dodgy conditions, the last thing I want is to become separated from my boat if I do happen to capsize. So that's really a disastrous situation. And if you've got strong wind against tide, that's a scenario that can happen very quickly. So by clipping the short tow to the tag, I know I'm always going to stay in contact with the boat. So I've moved away from the deck bag, the traditional sort of deck bag scenario, and I'm trying a different system on this trip. I've got the Palm Sup utility belt equipment here. I've got 2 pouches. This one has got some food in it in the form of a ketchup container with nuts and raisins. And the reason I've gone for that is that I can deploy it and take a swig of nuts and raisins single-handed. It also works really well on a bike. Also in here I've got a spoon, because I like to have my secondary breakfast of porridge while I'm on the water, and a knife in that container. So nestled between the 2 pouches is my Garmin 86i InReach GPS. This is the main navigation unit that I'm going to be using. Now most of my navigation is not going to be challenging. I'm going to be hand-railing the coast, but there will be some times when I'm cutting across bays, for example, and particularly on around Britain there might be some estuary crossings which require some more accurate navigation. So that's going to fulfill that purpose, but equally it's also going to provide the Garmin map share link to the website, through the website, which means that people can follow my progress live with 10-minute breadcrumbs updated while I'm on the water. that system also enables me to issue preset messages to designated people to tell them when I'm launching, when I'm arrived back on the beach, and to send text messages as well through the satellite system. Next to that, I've got my Yeti Rambler flask for a hot drink, and then I've got another pouch here which contains 2 sets of glasses, sunglasses and clear glasses, in case I want to protect my eyes from spray that's driving into my face. There's also a Flextail head torch in there and 2 Wetman Kraken carabiners in case I need them. Just to the left of that, I've got my paddle leash, which actually attaches at the back of the cockpit, and I can just unclip that and attach it to my paddles if I think there's a risk that I'm going to lose my blades. Now the deck is a Reed deck. I think these are probably the best on the market, and I'm really grateful to Reed for providing this deck and also the Storm Cag to support my Round Britain project later this year. It's fantastic kit, mainly because they're very lightweight, but they're very flexible. They don't implode in the sort of surf that we're seeing today, and they fit really, really nicely. So they're definitely the spray deck of choice for me, and we've got some loops there so I can put a chart case on there if I need to as well. If we take a look inside the cockpit, I've got my manual pump here, and paddle flow just tucked in beside the seat on this side, and just here I've got my Steve Wetman throw line, which I've actually rigged as a swim line. So if I do take a swim in surf like we've got today, and yesterday it was coming in here about 10 foot, it's probably still overhead today. I'm hoping it's going to ease up before I leave tomorrow. But I have used this system again on my self-rescue training, where I can deploy that and stay in touch with the boat while I and it gets ashore. Coming to the aft deck, I've got my Sweet Strutter helmet under a Mammoth helmet restraint here. I've got my D-ring there, which is sort of a towing point or rescue point there, very securely mounted. And then I've adapted the 9-inch hatch cover. As you can see here, I fitted an 8mm drinking tube to it, which comes forward. It attaches to a magnet on my buoyancy aid, so I can drink from a 4.5 litre bladder that's kept inside my day hatch, along with other items I need to get hold of, like first aid kit, toolkit, my swim kit, neoprene hat and gloves, and other food and snacks, and so on. So that's all in there. I'm also carrying a spare hatches, neoprene hatches as well, in case any get lost, although they're all fairly well securely attached. Again, another Hydrosil hatch cover here, and in the back I've got my clothes, all my food, and other equipment in there. And then finally on the back deck I've got my GoPro mount, so that I can do some forward-facing filming if I'd like to, but otherwise it stows quite neatly on the back, and I can secure that. And then right aft we've got the C-trim rudder, hoping to keep me in a straight line, even in quartering seas. So there she is. That's Goose Juice, the boat that I'm going to be using the next few days. I'll be testing this kit, and I'll keep you updated.